All right, so Ronin Man here. We're talking about business, entrepreneurship, and stuff, right? So it's so much bullshit out there. I just want to throw out some ideas for a guy who's been starting businesses for 40 years, maybe different businesses. So I've seen the old way, and then now the new way, and I'm very much in the new way. I've been doing like Google advertising, Facebook advertising, online marketing stuff for my own businesses since at least, let's see, the internet basically started being pretty big in like 2000, about then. So I had a website back then that was at the time it was like not many people had websites really. Not that many businesses actually even cared about websites. But I had a website, and then I saw the value of having like text on there, and then people could, there wasn't names for stuff, we just like, you write text on there, and then people would somehow find you or call you or whatever, and then we're like, wow, that's cool, So we'd write more text on the website, right? And then somehow more people would contact us, right? So, or maybe they believed us more or something, Back then, a website was like a business card. It wasn't like, there was no function to it except for proving that you had your shit together. If you own a house, you got your shit together, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, that's how people think, And it's a very good filter, right? Someone owns a house, they know how to save money, they know how to pay bills, they can do stuff, right? So someone who never does that, you're like, well, they never, that kind of thing, right? So one of the filters back then was like, have a good website that looks nice, And so then, so I had a website, and then I realized like, oh wow, if I write stuff on here, more people will contact me. So I had a headhunting website, and then we just basically copied, we basically took a Texas headhunting website that was really nice and just copied the whole thing, and then basically wrote new text on it, and then put my brand in Japan on it, right? And it worked fine. It worked great. We didn't take it that seriously back then. Like nobody even knew what the internet was going to be. There were no videos online or anything. You know what I mean? It was all pretty new. It was all pretty new. I'd been on the line for a while because luckily I have friends, who push me to do stuff, right? This is the key to being a good entrepreneur, is have friends who are constantly pushing you, constantly asking you questions, constantly because entrepreneurship's always changing. So like, for example, I was just searching for entrepreneur books, right? But I really don't fucking agree with this stuff here. I'll just get it right here, Entrepreneur books. And let me just get the books here that they recommend. So like, here's the Lean Startup. This is an old book, right? 4-Hour Workweek. It's not even really an entrepreneur book. I've read all these. 0 to 1. I thought it was pretty boring. It was good. I mean, I read these. I finished them, right? So that means I was worth reading. I'm just saying, like, for you now, like, would I recommend this is something you should study? Maybe. Just kind of, if you're an entrepreneur, you're busy, right? So you got to like pick and choose very smart. If you got nothing to do, then read 0 to 1. If you do your walks in the morning, you can't think of anything to watch, just get 0 to 1, it's fine. Anything entrepreneur can be good, but just have like a priority. Like if you're going to study something, like, make sure it's something worth, like Think and Grow Rich. It's not an entrepreneurial book. $100 Startup. I read it. I thought it was like too watered down. I didn't really get much out of it. The E-Myth is so out of date. Like the E-Myth, I don't even know when he wrote that. I read that too, but it was like way out of date. So in other words, what I'm saying is like, okay, there's very few entrepreneurs, right? Everybody is an entrepreneur today, apparently, but they're not. Because an entrepreneur is somebody who it's not someone who buys a franchise. Okay, like if you buy a franchise, you're buying a job. This is my opinion, right? And there's a very clear line in my mind, what is an entrepreneur? So somebody who buys a job is not an entrepreneur. Somebody who works for a consulting company and starts their own company is not an entrepreneur. They are basically like a doctor who works at a hospital and now they're opening their own clinic, right? That's not an entrepreneur. It's basically the same thing. The only difference is that you're responsible for your bills and you have to do your own marketing and you have to hire your staff, right? But you kind of have to do it in the hospital anyway. You kind of have your own nurses and stuff, right? So I'm not saying it's nothing. It's a step up, right, from working in a hospital as far as independence and stuff. But as a real entrepreneur, you have to understand what is an entrepreneur. To me, a real entrepreneur is somebody who does something that's never been done, basically, That's like a guy who, like, that to me is more like an entrepreneur. is somebody who's like, not only are they doing it themselves, but it's like something that's new. It's not a copy. So for example, if I start importing from China, I mean, I have my own business, but it's not an entrepreneur. To me, this is my opinion. I think, and it's important. I think my definition, if you think about it, the more you think about it, you'll see there's a big difference. There's a big, big difference. And just to give you the vocabulary and the mindset. So importing from China or where India or whatever, that's one thing. But everybody's already doing it. You're just buying toilets there and you're selling toilets here or something, right? Or you're buying wheat or something, you're selling it. You're just buying something and selling it, right? So you have to find your own clients. An entrepreneur is more somebody like who does, I don't even think a restaurant owner is really an entrepreneur, really. I don't think so. It's a restaurant owner, right? Restaurant owner, right? Entrepreneur these days has to be somebody who's very tech savvy. I think almost everything today, if you're really an entrepreneur, that's why entrepreneurs are usually like 25 these days. They're not like 40. There's very few entrepreneurs that are 40. They're too old. They don't usually get it, So like what's happening is like young guys like you are figuring it out. They're studying the stuff that, so for example, like in the Philippines, they have all these workers that will make your website, right? So you have a business, right? This is actually very valuable content, you guys. So you have a business, right? So you sell, I don't want to use what my friend's doing. Let me think. You sell anything, aluminum siding, right? So you do new floors for people or aluminum siding or whatever. And so you ask a guy in the Philippines or India, whatever, to make your website. They make the website. Then you pay somebody to do SEO. Okay, so search engine optimization, which is basically someone finds you on the internet. How do you get found on the internet? A lot of websites never get found, right? So you get an SEO guy, you get all this. Yes, this is totally fucking retarded. Okay, this is a recipe for failure already, because what you're doing is, and then you get another guy to do your Facebook ads, right, and your Google ads, right? So you get your leads, your business leads. Leads are everything, by the way. Leads are business. Really, solving those, like filling the need of the lead. Anybody can do that. It's super easy to get someone to do something, right? It's easy to get somebody, for example, to clean a house. It's very difficult to get a new client that wants to pay to clean a house, right? You got you have one house being cleaned, you're making $20 a week. You got two houses, you're making $40 a week. And three houses is $60. That's where the money comes. It's from those new leads. So entrepreneurship is about getting those leads that pay. That's really, you have to know that. Like you got to get those leads, get that money. And so what happens is when you hire somebody to do your leads, essentially, so they're going to get leads to SEO, making videos, ads, right? Let's just say those are the main ones. There's other things like affiliate if you have a digital product, but let's just say those ones. So, okay, here's the reason why everybody, if you understand the mindset, you'll just start things better. You'll just have a better life when it comes to business. Okay, so let's say I want a girlfriend, right? I want to fuck a girl tonight. So I say to you, go up and go to the bars, meet a girl, and bring her over here, right? Well, it doesn't really work. Because if I say to you, so you put on your best clothes, you get all good looking, you go down there to the bar, you start talking to the girl, and then you're like, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And you talk, and then you're like, hey, I have to go, want to, just meet my friend. And she's like, yeah, whatever, so you take her out of there. And like, here's my friend, and you're like, oh, here's this girl. It doesn't work because she's already bonded with you, right? So she's impressed with you. That's why she came out of the bar, right? So now she wants to date you, right? She doesn't want to date your friend. So when you get someone to get your leads, what you're doing is paying them money to build their business that's going to rip you off, right? So it's totally stupid. Like, it's not his fault. Like, if I pay you to go to the bars to get girlfriends, it's not your fault you sleep with them. Like, of course you're going to. They all want to sleep with you. You're going out and doing it, right? So the mindset of these business owners, they can pay everybody to do everything. They're total fucking retards. You want to do a business that you can do yourself and understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? And do not pay people to do the key part of your business. Because here's the other thing is, I pay you, let's say, for example, like using the dating thing and leads as an example. Let's say that I pay you to get girls, and let's say you're good at it. So you go to the bar, you get like 3 girls, say my friend's doing an after party, you bring them over here, I'm happy, right? Could happen, right? Especially if you bring a bunch. You get, like, say you're really good at getting groups of girls, you can bring them over here, we have a party, we have a great time. Well, then the next day I say to you, hey, go get some more girls. So you go out, and then you realize, hey, on Tuesday night, this bar is not happening. So you go to another bar, and then you're like, this bar is not happening. And then you finally realize on Tuesday night, maybe, there's some kind of thing going on somewhere. So you go over there and get girls, you bring them over here. Now, I, over here paying you, you're doing your job, right? You're trying to figure out how to get those leads. I don't really know the struggles you're having. Like, I don't see you walking in, nobody's there. I don't see you trying to decide where to go next. I don't see you dressing. I don't see you talking. I don't really know. All I know is when the girls come in, I know, right? So what happens is you are slowly educated by the realities of the market. So you are being paid to learn what really works and what doesn't work, right? So the guy who gets the leads, he's the guy who's you're training to understand your business, right? And really, you won't understand your business because getting clients is your business as an entrepreneur. It's clients that are willing to pay, Now, of course, you have other business jobs too, but that is like one of the main things, right? So you do not want to pay someone to learn how to get clients that pay because it's just stupid. It's just totally, even if they bring in people and you make money for a few years, you could have made way more money. And also you won't understand your own business because you won't really understand what they're thinking, what their objections were, how he got this thing going. And it's the same thing with Facebook ads or Google ads or SEO. You're just going to think it's magic. Like, pay the kid to do his magic. This is what older guys think. They're like, I need a kid to do my website. I need a kid to do this. They talk like this. So I need a young kid. And they try to pay you as little as possible. So, of course, they pay you a little. Now you're kind of like pissed off, right? You're like, this guy's like not even cool. And then you're more motivated to rip him off, right? And then now you understand like what the business is like. So you might work, these guys in the Philippines, they might work for, say, 10 small businesses. And then they find one small business has got a really good niche. Like, he's selling something smart. He's selling something that's hot right now. And so that's the guy you rip off. So you basically don't rip off all the entrepreneurs because most businesses suck. So as a guy, you're paid to get leads. You basically get the inside of everybody's business, and then you're going to pick the business that makes the most money to copyright. Because that's what we do in life. If you work for a car dealership and you get fired or you quit, you're going to get a job at another car dealership, and you're going to take all your knowledge from selling cars, everything you learned, and you're going to go to the next job, and that's accepted. That's totally cool in business, right? The problem is it's even worse in this situation because the owner doesn't even know. He doesn't even know that he doesn't know. Because in the old days, he knew. But the old guys are so afraid of the internet. They're so afraid of advertising online. They're so afraid of all these changes that they just give up and they just pay a kid to do it. And then it's ridiculous. That's why most businesses are a total joke right now. Everything's changing right now. So what you want to do is, if you're old or young or whatever, like, I'm 55, but I got into this early, man. I know this shit. I'm into this shit. I got into Google ads early, Facebook ads, ads in China, ads in Japan, different with Taboola. There's different like ways you can advertise on certain things, and you want to learn all those ways to get clients. If you want to be an entrepreneur today. So most entrepreneurship books are about 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And that's basically the Stone Ages. It's basically not even exist anymore. That era. A lot of the books that they're recommending here, they're just basically jokes. Because the technology's changed so much and it's so cool now that you would never use these old ways. It just doesn't make any sense, right? It's ridiculous. So what you want to do is instead of thinking about entrepreneurship, you want to think about how to get leads and what can I do to get leads. So for example, like if you look at leads, in some way, I would say you guys coming here is a lead. So how did I get you guys to come here? What I did was I made videos and I provided a lot of value, and you guys felt, I put in whatever I put in myself in there, and it went to all the internet, And then it just found the few people that agreed with what I said, because I put a lot of long, honest stuff, right? So you guys listen to that and you're like, that makes sense. I trust that guy, right? And then you came, right? And that's how it works. That's how it works. You have to give serious value first. So, like, for example, my friends and parents are like, what are you doing making all these free videos? You're spending all your time on this. And I don't even know if it's going to be, I don't even know. For me, I enjoy this stuff anyway. So I don't even care. Like, I love it. I love making the videos. I like the comments. And then I like, if anything else happens, it's like fucking awesome, right? I think you should pick something that you're into. Like, I like to talk about this stuff. And the problem is, if I do what I'm good at, so real estate. I have a real estate course, right? But I haven't been focusing on it because it doesn't really give me wood. Like this morning, I didn't wake up thinking, how can I do a better real estate course? Like I woke up, thinking, damn, what can we do today? What kind of content can we, and so because I enjoy it, and then you guys fire me up being here. So it gets even more, and I hear everything. So it gives me more ideas. And like, I say things and everybody here is motivated for this thing to succeed. You know what I mean? So even if I just, started passing out or something, you guys would just be like, keep going. You'd be like, yeah, so I think this, it's like everybody's here like for a reason, right? So it's like, I love this. I love this atmosphere. I love the guys, you guys are, and the guys listening too, they're commenting, right? So I think you're not, these guys that are 40, 50, whatever the fuck they are, these old guys, they don't understand because they think they can do a business for money today. I don't think you can. I think all these tools are so hard to use and so complex, and like the content, people are very smart these days and they listen to you and they know if you're telling the truth because they listen to one video, then the next video, and they compare it. Are you copying somebody? Are you full of shit? Are you exaggerating? Are you lying? Are you, what else? Repeating yourself? You don't have any more ideas? That's all you have, one trick pony. They're always like, people are super strict now. So the thing is like, I would say find something that you kind of just do when you wake up. And that's how I found Ronin Man stuff, is because I just do this. I've done this for 30 years every day, more than 30 years. I just wake up and tell my friends about women, about this. Like I've done this. Let's see, what year was that? Let me think back. Let's see. 1992 or 1, I had the predatory female. I had the manipulated man. Yeah, 1991. I had the manipulative man, the predatory female, and I had gotten a copy. My friend stole a copy because you couldn't even buy it because it wasn't available in the bookstores or anything back then. And even the ones in the library, the manipulated man was written by a woman, but they were always stolen. Women would steal them and throw them away because the women's movement didn't like that book. Not all, some, of course, some, I'm sure some did, but most people didn't like it. So Esther Villar's book was not popular. And so they would take it from the library and throw it in the garbage can. And the library would always have to buy a new copy. So my friend got a copy, and then we copied it on a Xerox machine. And then every time I had a new friend that I thought was cool, I'd make a copy and then put it in this binder and give it to him. And then we would talk about it. Like that's what I used to do every day. And then the predatory female came out. I copied those for a while, but then I realized those ones, the guy had a good mail order system. So I could order it, I could send him a check, and he would send me a bunch of books. So I ordered a bunch of books. So I was handing out predatory female to everybody all the time, and manipulated man. Then we would just talk about that. I give it to a friend. Sometimes he would not want to talk to me again. Other people would be really into it. Other people would be it was all kinds of reactions. But that's what I did every day. Basically, it's Ronin Man stuff. Basically, I've been doing ever since '92, kind of every day. When I go to my brother's house, when I go to anybody's house, my brother's he's like, I'm married, I really need you so much. But I couldn't stop, right? Because this is what I like. So I'm just okay, yeah, right. Some people don't want to hear about this stuff, So I was like, who wants to hear about this stuff all the time? And friends would fall out because they got married or whatever, And also I always had pickup in there too. So because I think pickup's important, because the reason why pickup's important is because just like sales is important, because it's so easy to go through life without doing anything, just thinking and doing nothing. The thing about sales is you got to knock on the door, like old school sales, right? And you got to talk to the girl, and they're going to say no. And they're going to say, fuck you. They're going to say, I don't want that. And then you're going to try to sell them and they're not going to want it. And they're going to insult you. And so that's not very fun. But the thing is that that's what a man does. A man's willing to do that. He's willing to try and then be turned down. That's what we're built for. That's our whole job. That's our whole part of the mating system, is to try, finally find the right one, and it works, And then humanity moves on, right? That's what we do. That's our job, right? So that's why I think sales for guys is so natural, is we're built for it, and it's good for us, to try and then get turned down and then to deal with it, without getting angry. That's why I don't like when I hear everybody's all angry, supposedly red pill rage. A lot of it is just pussies that can't be turned down. Prima donnas, right? Don't be like that. And if you're like that, just realize it, and then realize I don't want to be like this very much longer, right? And then realize, be willing to try and be turned down, and then don't blame the person for turning you down. That's what a shitty salesman does. He goes at the customer, hey, you like this phone, and then you're like, that phone's a piece of shit, and then and I go back to my boss and say, that guy, we have the dumbest clients, these guys are so stupid they don't even realize, and then I do it, I lose the job, right? And somebody else realizes it's not the clients that are bad, it's that I'm not selling well, It's my fault. I got to learn to sell. I got to learn to present. I got to learn to talk. I got to learn, more about the product. I got to learn how to people. I got to learn a lot of things, right? So it's easy to go through life just thinking about things, right? It's easy. That's what people want to do. They just want to think, But it's all about action. Action is what makes everything. You guys coming here, action. Everything is action that makes things change, right? So taking a risk. You took a risk bringing us over here. That was a big risk. I'm sure it felt dangerous, like shit, people are coming over. What's going to happen? And that's the risk you took, right? You gambled. You rolled the dice that the summit was going to be good to your house, good to your life, and good to your belongings and your neighbors. And you rolled the dice. You were the guy who really rolled the dice, right? So
there was some risk, but I felt it was worth. I had a good feeling about it, So
right.
In instinct and intuition type thing.
But also you were willing.
Yeah,
and you were willing to take that risk. And see, that's how, that's the difference between you and most people, is you did it. You did it. Same with the tour for me. It was easy for me. I didn't know what to do. But all of a sudden I thought, I'm in America. What's the best thing I can do? I have never gone and met people. I got to go meet people. I got to find out what's really going on in America with, guys that are on my channel, guys that are the men's, whatever you call it, the men's, what's going on with men, different places. I had to find out. I had to meet. I had to see, hear, what are people interested? I didn't know we were going to talk about entrepreneurship. I didn't know that was going to be a topic. But now that you gave me the night to think about it, now I got some ideas, right? And so that's the other thing. So that's why I like pickup, is because even if women aside, you're designed as a man to go pick up women. Okay, that's why we have penises, they have vaginas. Like the whole thing works, right? It's not like, you know what I mean? Like these things work together and babies are made. So we are made for that, right? So when you go try, even if they turn you down every day, you still learn something, right? You still learn something, whereas you don't learn anything by doing nothing, right? So always try, always be willing to try. Even if, like for me, like I don't even want a girlfriend. I don't even want to take a girl home. But I'll still talk to the girl next to me. I'll still take that risk because I know it keeps me fresh. It keeps me kind of going. It kind of keeps me trying. It also keeps me in line too, because women are looking at me like if I come up awkward, right? If I come up, let's just say pick up, right? So what I'll do is here's what I'll do. I'll come up, right? And I actually, this reminded me the other day. I didn't do this once. But I can't. I come up. Let's say I come up let's say I come up from behind, right? And then you turn around like this. So what I would do is as like essentially sales. I'm selling myself as a man who could make a baby or as a man who could be a mate, even though I don't even want to mate. Okay, it just doesn't even matter. It's just a matter of being able to do it. Keeps you. You can do it. You can use that for sales. You can use that for friendship. Go to a business meeting. Like when I go to a business party, I can work it. Like I look around, I see the guy who's in charge or whatever, and I'll just like work my way and I'll go in and I'll talk and I'll see if we have anything in common. I'm not there to sell anything. When I go to a meeting, I'm going to see who everybody is. Are these people cool? Could I do something? Could I hang out with them? Right? I'm not like, here's my business card. Like, I'm like, actually, most of the parties I come to, I come in and say, everybody's an idiot, right? I leave. You know, I don't have anything in common. There's nothing to learn here. I'm coming in to find out who everybody is, right? So even with the girls, like, I might not sleep, but I just want to find out. One, I want to test myself. Two, I want to find out who everybody is. You never know. She might say, so she might fucking have a tech company. You never know, right? So what I would do is if I made you, I came from behind, and right now I'm coming from behind. So right now Sean is like turning around surprised, right? So what I would do immediately, what should I do?
Be surprised.
No. What should I do? If I turn around and surprise him, I should basically verbalize that I surprised him, that it wasn't good. Right? I should react to what he's doing. Right? So I would say, sorry, I'd say something like, if you ever need someone to come and scare you from behind, let me know, and then she'll start laughing, right? And so then what I'm doing is I'm calling out my own awkwardness.
Wow.
I did something awkward, right? Even though I didn't mean to be awkward, like they reacted. So I just said, I made a joke about myself, right? Like, and it's true. I surprised them, even though I didn't mean to. Mm-hmm. So that's what you learn in sales. That's what you learn in pickup. That's what you learn in any kind of human relation. So I'm always testing myself. So thanks. So I think that's like really important. So sales is you come up to somebody and you're talking to them and you're actually there in the room, right? So if they do something, you are, if they're like falling asleep or something, you're not like doubling down. But I have the best videos. You should, you don't realize what's going on like this kind of like droning. It's like, no, man, most people don't want what you have, most people aren't going to buy it. So there's a lot of things to learn to be an entrepreneur, right? This is one of them. And it's this ability, this ability to, for myself, I am very good with groups. Okay. So when I go into a party, like a business party, like I can go into a party. I went into a party in Vegas. I looked at everybody. I met everybody. It was fun. I met the girls. And then eventually I met the main guy. Okay. So there was a main guy and I eventually went over to him and then, but I wasn't thinking like, this is the main guy. I'm here to get something from him, cause I was going to move to Vegas at the time. So I was like, I wasn't like that. I was like, this main guy, I wonder what he does. Like, why is he the main guy? Like he was the mayor or something, whatever he was. And I was just like, what does that mean? What do they do? Is this guy cool? And then we started talking. It turns out he lived in Japan. He was in the military. So then we started talking about Japan. And he was like, they couldn't take him away from me. He was talking about he was at the Yokosuka base, which I had always been. I had been in every Friday night. I used to go over there. So I knew a lot about the base. I knew a lot about, I had tried to sell them. I basically had pitched a piece of land for a new huge dormitory, for a military dormitory. After I got the real estate, was working in investment banking real estate, I went and presented it, and they liked it. They did a study of it. They decided not to because of construction costs. But anyway, it was like, so I had a lot of things I had done at that base, not just, go bowling or something, right? So he was like super interested, and we started talking about all this interesting stuff, and we had a great conversation, and we became friends, right? So that's when I go in the party. I'm seeing if anybody has any common with me, if I'm going to have fun. And I'm using my people skills, pickup skills that I learned. Because what most people do, they come in the bar and they just have their drink in their hand, and they just like sit there, like this. So that's like not good. That's like very isolating, right? You want to be able to go up to people and make them comfortable, right? And there's a lot of skills involved in that. There's a lot of skills, a lot of subtle skills that you learn. Like just stuff that you would learn from someone like Owen Cook, Tyler Durden RSD. Just simple things, like you guys stand up, right? You guys two stand up and up, face away from me, right? So I come in. You guys are talking though. You guys are talking together. You're talking. No, facing away. Oh. You guys are facing that way. Yeah, you guys go closer together. You guys are in a bar or something. So I come in from behind, and I just touch your shoulders and move you apart. And then I'm just like, hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, and it seems comfortable. Now go back. Now I come in. I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, you guys. Oh, yeah. How's that? Feels totally different, right? And I didn't like pull you apart. I just like touched both your arms on the shoulders at the same time, and it kind of softly moved. And then you just kind of like, you both felt it, so you both moved. And so that you saw him move. So in your subconscious, you're like, wait, something's happening, right? You're like, oh, we're both turning around now. And then, oh, we're talking to this new guy now. And then I come in and we're talking, and then everything just is very natural because of the soft touch in a safe place, on your shoulder, and I both at the same time. And then it was like these little skills make you able to open up people, right? So it's not, otherwise you're just always like talking to people and they're not listening to you. That's your fault. Okay, you haven't learned how to change that, right? So entrepreneurship is the ability to, like, for example, network with other entrepreneurs, and then also having nothing to gain. I'm just seeing if I have friends here. I'll talk to you guys if there's nothing going on. If you guys are talking about something doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm just seeing what's going on. Yeah, I'm just kind of sussing out who's going on. Any friends here? Is anybody looking for anything? And I'm not even necessarily looking for anything at the moment. I'm just going in and, hey man, everything that you want, somebody else has, and everything they want, someone else has. So it's like finding out who wants stuff, right? So it's just that's what business really is, right? So, and what you can provide, what they can provide, it's not pushing, selling. It's just finding out, really,
Well, like I've heard a lot of pickup artists say, if you're trying to go into a situation and get laid, it's never going to happen. But if you just try to go in and be social and stuff like that, like the pussy will just come to you.
Well, there's many theories on that. So I would say that you could go either way. Generally you're right. But you could do it the other way too.
But I mean, in the business,
more hardcore.
If you go in there like looking for sales opportunities, people are going to feel that and feel like
Yep.
and they're going to be like.
But at the same time, there's always exceptions, because you could do this. Like, for example, I could go into a group of people. Let's say there's a bunch of guys, and I don't know if they want to buy what I have. But let's say I have something I'm proud of, I want to sell. I might say to the guys, just real clear, like, hey guys, look, I have this thing, for sale, and if this sounds like anything that anybody might be interested, let me know, because I don't want to waste everybody's time presenting to everybody and trying to sell you on stuff. But I have this thing from China. It's very, this is the price. This is the kind of thing. So if anybody has that need, let me know. I might do that. So you could do it without doing it. Just let them be aware. And then they realize, wow, that guy's not pushy at all. He's like kind of saving our time. Because everybody, what they do is they don't do that. So they go up to everybody and push each person individually. So have you ever thought about used cars? There's really, and then you're like, no, I don't want to use car. What kind of car do you have? But it's like this kind of like passive, endless droning. So you can ask for the sale and still be friendly. So there's different ways to do sex too. A guy could come in with a more aggressive line, but in an honest way. And then that could be, I don't know, like, and it could be, I don't want to think of an example because it's not a pickup channel, but there's definitely things you could say for sure that would be more straightforward, and the girls would appreciate it because it is straightforward and it's not pushy. And it's like, they would be like, wow, that's refreshing. That's interesting. So there are things that every rule is made to be broken. But when it comes to meeting people and opening up people, this is the same for everything. So it's a very valuable skill. That's more a specific skill. But like the valuable skill is opening up people, finding out who everybody is. That's one thing you want to get good at, you want to get better at. Next thing is like leads, right? So leads. How do you get leads? You get leads from ads and fucking SEO. Anything else like banner advertising, TV advertising, this is the shit that's all dying, right? Magazine advertising, newspaper, it's all dying, right? So you don't want to do any of that. You don't want to spend a minute on that. You want to go straight for the fucking the new shit, right? The stuff that works. It's not easy. At Facebook advertising, Google advertising might not be good for you. You might find something else. Taboola, when you read the New York Times, there's like ads on the bottom. That's called an advertising network, right? So that network is not. It's sometimes Google. You can see ads by Google. Whenever you read a newspaper, you see ads on the bottom. Just see who sponsors them, and you'll know where you could advertise, which advertising network you could buy ads in. So you can, for example, buy ads that only go in the New York Times. Very cheap. Only in the business section. And very cheap. You could never do that before. The New York Times, man, you were paying big money to be in the New York Times. Now, like, you could get it for a few bucks a click or whatever, or maybe even $1, you never know. Taboola could be really cheap, right? So a lot of the ads are junky and a lot of the ads are for garbage, but that's how advertising is. Everybody's got a different Advertising. I don't use advertising anymore. I've done it. I've done a lot of advertising for my other stuff I've done, but I don't do any advertising right now. I do more like content. So I make content for my real estate course, my other course. I make content, and I basically give away a lot of information. And then if people see, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, then they'll say, okay, but I have a specific situation I want to talk to him about, and I want his help on this specific thing, because I think this guy is on track for my type of whatever it is that I'm doing. So I do content because I have a lot of knowledge. So for me, content is good. Like a lot of guys don't have much knowledge, so content doesn't work so well for them because they run out of ideas. They're not good at presenting. They're not good on video, or whatever it is, So you have to pick what you're good at too. Like if you're not good at talking on video, then you probably don't want to do online video. But you might do slides with audio, with more like direct. Here's the 3 benefits, A, B, C. You might do that type. So find what works for you. For me, like just giving a lot of content away works because people start. My personality, as you guys can probably figure it out. So basically, that's what that works for me because I feel like I can just give, and that other guys I know for sure they don't have that same. They're more like specific. There's one niche they're good at, and they don't want to give away the secrets to that niche. They're like, I know how to do this one specific thing, and if they gave away all way, then they would feel like they're naked. They're not. They got what I mean. The clients already can do it on their own. But I would say, if that's the kind of business you're doing, I wouldn't do it. Because it's like, it's destined to fail. And you're like hiding. I like the businesses where you really are confident in yourself. You know you can do it. And you know you can help them. And I mean, it's just so much better. And you like doing it. So find something you like doing and that you know you can do. And you're good at it. You kick ass at it. So like, you're not worried about competition. Because you're like, fuck, I know my thing. I know this niche, So whatever it is that they bring, it's going to be able to figure it out. Or one of my friends, like I'll be able to somehow, provide some value. So content marketing, you can do blog posts, you can do LinkedIn, like where you kind of like use LinkedIn as a publisher. You can use medium.com. I've used all these. I've done a lot of writing. And my writing, for me, you have to be honest with yourself too. If you write something, if you make something and no one watches it, then it sucks. So, you have to be honest with yourself. Like I have 6 YouTube channels and like, see, 3 of them, one of them was really popular. The other one is really profitable, so, and then Ronin Man. So yeah, one of them was like crazy viral. So I can make viral videos, when I'm like using my face and everything. So I know that. So I'm confident, even though it's difficult, that I could make something that would get consumed by a lot of people and bring in a lot of leads, right? So whatever it is, if you find yourself able to do something, don't forget it. That's what you're good at. Like don't not notice it. If you write something and then everybody starts sharing it around, you want to notice that. Not only that you wrote it, but what did you write about? How long was it? Ask the people why they read it. Why did you share it? Especially if people start sharing your stuff. That's like super valuable. Because if they read it, it's one thing. They share it without you asking. I never ask anybody to share anything. If you notice I never say like, subscribe to the channel, click on the button, this and that. I just don't do that. If you want to do it, fucking do it. You don't want to do it, get the fuck out of here. It doesn't matter. I don't want anybody fake on here. Like I literally don't want anybody who I'm talking into subscribing. There's no interest. There's no value. They're just going to be listening to it. Like I don't fit their needs. So what's the point? It's not no point for me. The numbers don't mean anything. It's like, it's the interaction. It's the people. It's the real people that are interested, that are into it. That's where the juice is, So fake numbers don't mean anything. So I never ask anybody when I make a new channel. I don't tell anybody. I don't like go and post it on my Facebook. And you like mine, I'll like yours. You recommend me on LinkedIn. I'll recommend you. So you have to kind of get real honest about stuff to be an entrepreneur. I think it's important. You stop bullshitting yourself. And then if you're good at something, follow it. Like I fucked up big time because I wrote a 1-page thing about electric cars a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago, and it fucking got shared by everybody. I heard it got to Elon Musk, the thing I wrote with no background at all. I just wrote it on the electric cars like 6 years ago, And I just wrote my opinion, what I thought about it, what I could see. And then it fucking went everywhere. But I was not paying attention. I fucking didn't notice. Like I mentioned to my friend, I said, I should make a YouTube fucking video channel about this. Like, I really like this and I know this. And it seems like people, like electric car companies, presidents, email me wanting to do partnerships. You know, like with this blog post. This one fucking thing I wrote, one article. And it was like, I didn't notice. So don't do that. Because that was a great opportunity for me. Because I like technology and I was really into it. Like I wrote that because I liked it, you know. And I had a lot more to share. But I just kind of thought, whatever. And then I wrote it and I think back, I'm like, damn, that was stupid actually, you know. So pay attention because you know what you're good at, right? So what you're good at. But you pay attention to other people. It's just like I paid attention when I came behind you and you looked alarmed. I paid attention to that. So when you put something out there and nobody reads it, pay attention. Like people don't like that. You know, you don't know why because it's going to be complicated. You know, but you might not be good on video. You might not be on the wrong topic. It might be too long, might be too short. It might be bad lighting. It might be bad camera. It might be bad title. It could have been not posted in the right place. I mean, there are a lot of variables, but in the end, if no girls want to talk to you, if no clients want to talk to you, you're probably not offering something they want. So I think entrepreneurship is a combination of you're fucking into it and you're honest with yourself that other people are not into it. And you're able to take it on the chin, like ego-wise. You're like, because I have 6 channels. And one of the channels, I was so sure it was going to be big. I was like, this is the fucking greatest content. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, everybody's going to want this. I had a million reasons. The channel's still up. I was like, this is fucking the shit, man. I know everybody's going to, again, no views at all. Like, I don't know how many views I got. Maybe 500 views on each video, or maybe 10 views on some, 16 views. Like people just didn't resonate. I still don't know why. I thought it was great content. I thought it was some of my best shit. But so the thing is, it's like combination of what you like, what you're good at, and then also your reaction. So to be an entrepreneur, you need both. You need the girls to want to fuck you, and you need you to want to fuck them, right? So you've got to have this synergy. And both of them got to be happening, you know. So pay attention. Pay attention to everything. Pay attention to people. Do they listen to you? Do they follow you? If they follow you, you know, think back when you're a kid. Like, did you have little groups you led? I always had little groups. And we call them dares trails, right? So do you dare to do this? So one guy would, like, jump out of a tree into a bush. And the next guy had to jump out of the tree into the bush, you know, and see if, you know. And then if you didn't dare, then you were out, you know. So then if you did, you know, you always tried to get to be the leader that was doing something, to lead everybody else to do something. It was fun. And I was always leading guys. We were always doing stuff and having fun. And so then older people were like, you're a leader. You know, people used to always tell me that. And like, even they could be pissed off about it because they'd be like, they were trying to lead something. And then they were like older people, like I was like 10 or whatever. And they'd be like, you're a leader. And they're like attacking me. And I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't realize that they were like 3 inches, right? They couldn't lead, but they were trying to lead. So be honest with yourself. If you're not a leader, you're not a leader. It doesn't matter. No big deal. You're going to have skills. Like literally you're going to have skills. And that's what I was going to say to you, Sean, is because you were saying yesterday you're not social, but maybe you're not. Okay, maybe you haven't had maybe you haven't had lots, but there's probably a niche out there, just like online gaming, where you find that niche that's like you really groove with, you know? And let's face it, people make money online gaming. You can fucking make games and make $1 zillion, right? New company, write a new software. I mean, it's not like one thing doesn't work and one does, you know. There's very anti-social type groups that are making a lot of money today. So it's not about looking cool. Like in the 70s, it was all about looking cool. Like the coolest guy, the most social guy, he was the guy who was a winner in the 70s. But today, I don't think so, man. A lot of winners are not like that. They don't look like that. And the cool guy, the social guy, he's got the right car and everything, can be a total loser now, you know. So I don't think that the old things work. You know, you might find a niche you fit into perfectly, and you might realize, what was I doing trying to fit in these guys that have low IQ? Like maybe like I can hang out with them, but like I really fit in with the other. Or you might find another niche where you realize that you are social, but you were surrounded by idiots, right? That's possible too.
I found,
you know,
with like
talk really loud.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I found with like the group of like younger 20-year-olds now and people that are starting to come out of high school, like, you know, like your dating pool, like those groups and those social groups, it's a lot different even from when I was a kid, because now
Yeah.
being vulnerable and stuff is very cool. Like that's
Right.
very hit. Like people who open up and talk about stuff like that, those people are way up here. And that's the exact opposite of how it used to be.
Right.
Like actually
Right.
pretending to act cool, or even like without meaning to, even like accidentally bragging about something or mentioning something that would like elevate yourself.
Humble brag.
Is
Humble
seen
brag.
is very low.
Right.
And those people are
And also they
ostracized very quickly.
they call it out too.
Yeah.
Before it was like this kind of thing where you knew he was humble bragging,
Yeah.
but now they'll say,
He thinks he's
yeah, right.
No,
Just
yeah.
say boom. And
It's the
it,
exact opposite.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
what's interesting,
But yeah.
what's interesting what you said is
I'm
because
very bad at that stuff.
today there was a new comment on the video from yesterday. And it says that, like, basically, what a bunch of losers. I'd like to hear a positive story. Now, I know this guy because he comments a lot. Now, he's an older guy. See, so his generation was more like that.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for somebody to say, like, actually, there's quite a few successful guys that come to the summit. Okay, but they don't say it because that's not why we're here. We're not here to say, oh, I can do this, I can do, like I have this job resume, I have this experience in the Army, I'm doing this, I'm kicking ass and that. That's not what we're doing here. But that's what some people think, that at the summit, everybody's going to first brag about what they're good at and then talk about something that's embarrassing. Actually, at summit, people are going to ignore everything they're good at and focus on the thing that they're really bad at so that maybe they can fix that, right? And so, but someone listening doesn't meet us, so it is kind of unfair. They don't really realize, like even before the first summit, I didn't really realize what kind of guys would come either. So I can understand. I'm not totally bagging on this guy. But I would say definitely think twice about this because it's not true. Like tons of cool guys come, and they just don't, there's no need. That's not what we're doing. There's nothing to gain from that, right? There's nothing to gain, right? If somebody's sad about something, fucking talk about whatever. Yesterday we talked about, we talked about a very heavy topic we didn't put online. Like, it's like, and I think that was good actually now thinking back, So, the rules have changed, marketing's changed, everything's changed. Have confidence in yourself that you are unique. The key thing is you're unique. So if somebody's not unique, it's very difficult to succeed now. And if they don't know they're unique. So some guys will be unique, but they'll cover it up to be average, thinking that's the way to be. Yeah, it's more like finding out who you are and being that, right? Same with pickup. Like if let's say you went to pickup and you said, basically I'm socially awkward, if you said that to the girls, but in a cool way, they would, if you did it in the right way, they would be like, wow.
That's right.
Yeah, they would be like, wow,
That's right.
This guy is confident enough to do that, to say that. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, depending on how you say it and depending on the girls, but that's the type of stuff that sets you apart. And so, I mean, just one example, I was staying at the mansion, basically the RSD mansion in Hollywood Hills, right? When I was making the videos 2 years ago. And all the guys, all the interns who I was living with, they were all, the RSD interns, they were all like fucking, you talk all this shit about girls, but we've never seen you pick up girls. So they're all kids, right? They're all young. And so they're like, basically like, they liked me, but they're like, let's take him on and test him, right? So we went down to the mall, and then they're like, and I was actually watching them rather than, I really didn't care if I impressed him at all. I was just kind of watching them. But then I thought, after a while, I was kind of watching them, and I thought, they weren't very good. No, these guys, you guys are great. I mean, but what I mean is like, there's always more to learn, right? There's always, and that's why they're interns. Right. These dudes are fucking the cool. In so many ways, they're cool because they're willing to be wrong all the time, which I love. But the way they were approaching the girls, I thought was a bit awkward. So I just sitting there, and I did not want a girl. That was the problem. You have to want something, and to make it motivated. So I thought, well, what do I want? And I was thinking, well, actually, what I want is to talk about something because I had just, I had a baby that was in some chick's stomach, whatever, and I didn't know if I was ever going to meet it, and I wanted to talk about it with some chicks, just to see what they thought, if they had any advice. So there was like these two like really hot girls. I went up to them, and I just started talking to them about this, And you would think this is like the worst topic in the mall. These girls are dressed up. We're like Beverly Hills type area, you know, and these girls are busy. They're having a day out. But I came up to them. I have my own way. See, I have my own way. And I came up and I just started saying hello and stuff. And I said, look, I really like to ask you guys this very serious question. I realize we're in the mall and everything, but I really want to know what you think. And I asked them, and they were really into it. Like the girls were writing down their numbers and giving them to when they left. And they were like talking to me about maybe this happened. Like they were really cool actually. The girls were actually pretty cool. And I was enjoying the conversation. We're talking about what could have gone wrong, what's gonna happen with the baby, what girls think about this, what's pregnancy like. We were talking about stuff. And so then the RSD dudes were like, whoa, like, and so they tried to jump in, right? It was kind of a competition, right? So they like popped in and they're like, you girls are loud. And then the girls are like moving them out of the way to talk to me about the baby and this super serious topic. And they could not break in, right? And it was like totally hilarious. And afterwards, the guys were like, what did you do? Like we didn't see you doing pickup, but those girls, you know, scribbling their numbers down. They kept talking to you. And then like, well, who did you study? I'm like, nobody. Like, what did you do? Talked about losing a baby. They're like, here? In the mall, like, how did that work? You know, but they're really smart guys, so they quickly realized that there was something going on, and they pretty much understood what was going on. But it took them a second, you know. So the thing is like, you can do whatever you want if it's inside you, right? So being an entrepreneur, anything can work if it's inside you. Any group, any unique you have is good, but you have to know it. You have to understand it, right? You know, because you're not going to fit into most groups. Right? And nobody is, if you're honest. But most guys are lying their ass off so they fit into every group. Right? So that's a bad way to be an entrepreneur. You have to be the type that's ballsy enough to say what the fuck's going on with you, right? What you want to do. And you have to know yourself enough to be able to say that, right? You know, so I think that these are the tools, and these are the mindset, and then also the tools is just think of lead gen as basically business today. You know, if you think of ways to get lead gen, so writing content, there's so many ways, right? There's like, just think of all the ways that you get to anything. You know, how do you get to things? Like you end up at buying something, right? But be really honest about yourself, about how you got to that point. You know, I was thinking back to how I got to Asia, and I was thinking back to that movie, that song Kung Fu Fighting, right? You know, that song came out when I was like 10 or whatever. And I'm like, that's awesome. Asia sounds awesome. You know, like, you know, that's where it started, like reading The Good Earth, Kung Fu Fighting, you know. So who would ever think that just some ridiculous song would become fluent in Japanese and Chinese, having businesses overseas and doing all kinds of stuff, you know, like doing a lot of cool shit. But it started for something really stupid. So your clients are the same way. They come to your business through like really stupid shit sometimes, you know. So it's not like advertising works even anymore in a way, you know. So a lot of times you might have an ad that runs to something else, and then somehow people end up at your thing. And like for myself, I've kind of tried everything. So I had like a marketing funnel. So I studied like marketing funnels. I made videos. They're fucking kick-ass. They're really good videos. I'm really proud of that funnel. There's like 3 videos in the funnel in my real estate course, and there's a final sales video. All of them about half an hour long. Great content. It's like well produced. It was well thought out. It took blood and fucking sweat and tears and pet sounds type of pain. You know, pet sounds kind of insanity to get those videos finally done, because it was a new niche. I created a niche that didn't exist in real estate, and I'm the only one's the expert in this. Like this niche is very unique, right? And so there was no one to copy. Everything was impossible to think of, and I did it, and it was good. But I think sales funnels are kind of dead now. You know, sales funnels, nobody wants to watch 4 videos anymore. So more what I do now is put out stuff that creates trust, shows my way of thinking, and if people, you know, if they come to me, like I can solve complex problems. So that's why I put complex stuff out there, because I like solving complex. I like a supercomputer that's figuring out the weather. That's what I think of my brain as. Even though it's not a supercomputer, it's still that same model. Taking everything into consideration. Is it going to rain? You know what I mean? Like, all that shit. Is it going to rain or not? You know what I mean? That kind of, it's a simple thing at the end, but it's like how to, I like that kind of stuff where it's all these different variables, all these different, whatever. So find out what it is that you look at yourself, try businesses, and learn the tools that get leads, learn yourself, improve yourself at meeting people, be honest with yourself, and never give up. And you will definitely succeed in business. All right. That's all. Yeah.